I tell you what, Simon. We've been talking about will City do the quadruple. I've been thinking about this.
Have you indeed?
This would be an incredible achievement.
Phenomenal.
For any club to do it.
Phenomenal.
Now, there they are. They're still in the big one. They're still in the Champions League. It remains to be seen if they go over the next hurdle, the semi-final stage.
League Cup final, win the Premier League. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, if they get the trophy in the bank with the FA Cup, they're pushing towards the Premier League. You begin to think they'll beat Tottenham. They should beat Tottenham in the Carabao Cup.
Who won the Charity Shield?
You begin to think Arsenal. You begin to think
it's not good enough then.
Yeah, this is on. This would be one hell of a thing.
Of course, it's on. It's been on for some time. They know it's on. They are focused on it. They believe they probably can achieve it. They're just not going to peddle that narrative out there because that would be foolish. It's managing expectation, managing the expectations of those that write about things.
But would you give them the respect they deserve? Because you haven't been thoroughly respectful to City because it's so much money based.
No, I have been thoroughly respectful of the football operation in terms of
City fans don't like you because you haven't been.
I can care less. But the point is that I've always been incredibly complimentary about Manchester City as a football team. Their style of football is outstanding to watch. They're an outstanding team. They've got an outstanding manager.
But they're one of your Fabergé egg clubs.
No, one of my Fabergé egg clubs, well, there was only one Fabergé egg club, and that was PSG.
Right.
You've conflated that scenario. I've been consistent in my view that there's a certain feel about Man City, which is the same feel about Chelsea, which is a bit Frankenstein-y, a bit bought and paid for. Right. But that is, and people say, well, all clubs are bought and paid for. Some are done organically, and some are not, right? But that doesn't mean that Manchester City as a football team aren't beautiful and they're disrespected. They're not disrespected. I personally think they got away with one with financial fair play. This is my view. Based upon what I think is my understanding of what the situation were, they got cleared by Court of Arbitration of Sport, so it's only my personal perspective on things. And I think that there's certain aspects of some of the things that they do that I'm not overly impressed with, but as an operation, they invest in the community, they buy football clubs around the world, they put elite players in the Premier League, they play a brand of football which is outstanding. Who would disrespect that?
It's hard to fault what they do, to be quite honest.
So go back to your allegation then. Which part of that little soliloquy, which I've been consistent with, goes towards disrespect?
Well, you've been consistent.
I disrespect Trevor's nonsense because he doesn't see anything, but beyond the perfect scenario.
But I think it's fair to say a lot of people out there don't like the way City do it, the way they go about it, because it's so money based. You don't like the way they get their success, in other words. And you have been a bit pushy on that one as well. That's why City fans have a problem with you.
Well, some City fans do and some City fans don't. I don't like the framework of football finances per se. I don't believe that football should be as unsustainable as people just being able to spend exactly what they want and creating an ecosystem that potentially brings about downfall. I don't like it. I think it's the wrong message. But I also understand there's an element of hypocrisy about other people's points of view because nobody really spent a lot of time criticising Chelsea back in the day. I did. I didn't like Roman Abramovich coming through the door and firing cannons of cash like David Dean at Arsenal said, because I knew what it meant for everybody else. It meant the price got driven up for everybody else. Every player salary that you paid all of a sudden wasn't good enough for the players because they were seeing what other clubs were playing.
But let me put this to you. On moral grounds, say Simon Jordan had been the chief executive of Manchester City before Mansour got his hands on the club. And then he employs Simon Jordan. I like the cut of your jib. I'm going to keep it. On moral grounds, would you give it? I can't have this.
What's morality got to do with it? First of all, I wouldn't have been a chief executive. I was an employer, not an employee. And second of all, what would the morality issue come to play? I'm not talking about the reality of their politics or where their money comes from. I'm talking about how their money is used at certain times. Not the morality. I'm not getting into the issues about what Middle Eastern money represents.
Do you still question how their money is used?
I think there's that Manchester City are a club now that have moved from what they originally were. And some would say, here's the argument that some would say, which is in order to catch up with what Man United have spent, then it will always look like a very a concertinaed amount of money.
Yeah.
But my viewpoint as a football team, which is the primary issue that we're talking about, their achievements, not once has anybody vaguely resembling Simon Jordan derided their achievements.
I've got bad news for you because a lot of people watching YouTube and Facebook this morning are saying, and I'm reliably informed, they're saying Simon's backtracking. They can hear you in reverse. On the Man City issue.
Frankenstein Club. I've said it. I've retained it. I've said it again in this conversation. I said I don't like the deployment of money. I said I don't like the fact that they I think, got around FFP. Consistent. And I've always said they're a brilliant team. So which part of that is beep, beep, beep?
None we might have to send out for moisturiser for you this morning. You've butchered yourself shaving. I'm watching you.
I look like I've shaved with a broken bottle, don't I?
What has happened this morning?